What's your favourite Elton John song and why?
Your Song, it's a song that I sort of feel like has been there throughout my growing up. I used it to audition for drama school. And I don't know, it just sort of feels like a kind of timeless classic. And yeah, I don't know, it's a lovely moment in our film as well, I think, the writing of Your Song. So probably that one, and Benny and the Jets as well, I think.
Can I just follow up on that a bit? Why did you choose to decide to audition with it at drama school?
I chose to audition with it at drama school because there's a story in it, and I think that's the great thing about Elton and Bernie's songs, is that Bernie writes these lyrics, and there's quite often a kind of a story or a character or a kind of a narrative, and I think there's something about Your Song. It may not be a story, but it's kind of performable. It's a sort of an address to someone, so you can sing it and kind of also treat it like a piece of performance, a speech.
What was meeting the real Elton for the first time like?
Meeting the real Elton for the first time was intimidating. He is obviously someone who feels a bit like royalty, and he's one of those people who's kind of such an icon that he feels more like, until you meet him, you kind of forget that he's a real sort of person. He's sort of more of an idea than he is a kind of a walking, talking human being. But through sort of being fortunate enough to spend some time with him, you very quickly realise, although he's intimidating at first and kind of delights in being a little bit provocative and sort of and a little bit naughty, he is just the kindest, most generous, warm-spirited person, and I don't think that the experience of playing him would have been anywhere near as rewarding and sort of, I don't know, nourishing and significant in my life if it weren't for that having gone hand in hand with getting to know him and spending time with him. It's been a real privilege, and I feel very lucky.
Did Elton give you any advice on how to play Elton?
Elton didn't really give me advice on how to play him. He's been, as a person and as someone and as a support, he's been very present, but he's not been someone who's kind of lent on me in any way or kind of or tried to guide me in terms of playing him. I think he is a creative person himself, obviously one of the most creative people that's ever lived, but I think he knows that you have to sort of give someone their space a little bit in order to get the best out of them, and so he's given me real license, and I'm really grateful to him for that. Yeah.
A lot of the musical scenes are quite fantastical. What was the trickiest to pull off?
So Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting is a very sort of physical number in the film, and I'm not the world's greatest dancer, but it was something I really, really enjoyed, kind of the physical element of it and kind of that sort of raw, trying to be sort of very sort of expressive in quite a raw kind of youthful way, because that song comes at a point in the film where he's still very, very young. The songs aren't dealt with chronologically in the film, they're sort of used when they best fit in terms of the story, and Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting is sort of him growing up and imbibing all of sort of these different cultures that were sort of in and arriving in the UK at that time, and them all feeding into his passion and his creativity and his music, and that's sort of shown in the film through a kind of real sort of abandon and sort of expressive movement. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's just we shot it at night over sort of 5 or 6 days. It was exhausting, but it looks really cool in the film.
What was your favourite Elton John outfit to wear in the film?
I mean, I wear a lot of sort of fairly crazy clothing in the film, as Elton did. There's a costume that sort of runs the way through the film, and it's very kind of outlandish and sort of inspired by him, but also a new creation by Julian Day, our costume designer. and it has something of the angelic and something of the hellish to it, and it has a bit of sort of Elvis Presley in it, and it makes me quite a lot taller than I am in real life, sort of by a good couple of feet. I mean, it's quite amazing. It's also bright orange, and there's something really empowering about wearing it, and I think that's quite a big part of who Elton is. That his stage gear, it elevates him, and from someone who's worn things that are very similar playing him, it's really, you feel kind of galvanised and charged, and you feel like you can sort of take on the world, and I think that's probably why he wore lots of those things.
This might be, the answer to this might be the same outfit, considering you just said the last one makes you 2 feet taller, but what was the most complicated outfit or difficult outfit to wear from a practical point of view?
So the most complicated outfit to wear from a practical point of view is I do wear a Queen Elizabeth costume in it at one point, and that was tricky to get into and to get out of. There's a sort of big wig that went with it, and we also shot in August as well, and there was sort of 5 or 6 quite heavy layers to it. But yeah, there were quite a few costumes that were sort of tricky to get in and out of. I don't think he was ever particularly concerned with the practicality of something, as in the practicality of wearing something. It was about whether it was sort of fantastical and sort of shocking and different. Yeah.
Finally, was there either an outfit or a prop that you got to keep from the film as a memento?
There are a few things that I'd like to keep from the film, just if anyone from the studio is listening. I would love to have the glasses that I wear when writing your song. And there is a rather fabulous denim number that I wear in about 1971 in LA, with lots of sort of stitched on kind of patterns and symbols and motifs that I actually think might be quite fun festival wear or something. So if anyone from Paramount is listening or watching, then, you know, it's a little subtle hint for you there.